going to share something with you that God shared with me. The riches, the abundance, the wealth, it's already here. It's already here, but we can't see it because our eyes are in other places. Our eyes are not in the place where it needs to be to see what it is that we need to see. Our ears are not in the place to hear what it is that we need to hear. The wealth, the abundance, the levels of change that has already taken place in other thriving places we don't see because we are distracted. We use our mouths as weapons instead of as blessings. The very being that we are using it to fight against ourselves. We look at and we focus on the people who are fighting against us, but we don't take responsibility for how we are fighting against ourselves, how we are not able to see what is already in position and in place, and that what the wealth, what the abundance, what the inheritance, what the riches are. We look at material things that are crumbling instead of seeing the wealth, the abundance, the riches, the inheritance outside of the things that we are focused on that are blinding us. We are caught up in a wheel, which is a rat race, and we're running on this wheel and we are going nowhere and receiving nothing and not growing, and it's all by design. But if we would just take a look and see what God wants us to see, the riches, the wealth, the inheritance, and the abundance is already here. It's already thriving. It's already alive. It's already in position. It's already going forward. It's already in you. Many of us don't see what we need to see because we have allowed ourselves to be distracted and seeing what somebody else programmed and wants and controls for us to see, but we are not able to see the thing that we need to see because we stay so focused on what is being presented, the visual before us. God showed me something that blew my mind in the wealth and the abundance and the riches and how we define what rich is, but we don't see the provision that is already made, that is already here, the things that we take for granted. Many of us, because we are so limited in our mindsets, we only focus on the things that this place defines as riches and wealth and abundance. But there are other places, heavenly places, high places that we are able to go into if we step outside of our comfort zone. And of course, I'm not speaking plainly, but those who have an ear can hear, and those who have eyes to see, you will see what it is that I'm saying to you. There is wealth and abundance and greater all around us. But because we are trapped in the matrix, we are trapped in a system, we are trapped in a place that seeks to keep us in the darkness and keep us behind and keep us from advancing. We can't see the abundance, and the fear is that we will be exposed to what is already is in position, but to keep us in the dark about what already is, what we already have a right to, and what we have the freedom to, because of other people's fears and conditionings and their dependency on the robots, the conformity, us doing the same things and operating and working according to and within a system that is working for some people, but not for everybody. when there is room, and there is space, and there are places for all of us. But we can't get there when we can only see limited and limitations, when there are no limits in who God is, who is source, who is immeasurable, who is inexhaustible, who has everything and always makes room for all of us. But because of greed and because of the powers that be hovering, paying, positioning people in positions to vex and to torment and to keep us low and to stop us and to block us and to hinder us, it's all the assignment of the enemy, the principalities, the powers, the rulers of darkness, the spiritual wickedness in high places is designed to keep us trapped, to keep us locked, to keep us in low places, when God never designed for us to ever be caught up in a system that treats us like a spider in a web, and that traps us and gives us things that are not good for us, and keeps us from being able to see and explore and move into the places where God has ordained for us all to have access to. But because of control, and Jezebel wants to run this place the way that they want to run it, and take from people to make sure that Ahab is happy with what it is that Ahab is whining and complaining about, and don't have the wherewithal to get up and get himself. He's relying on the wickedness of the foreign things that are in the air and in the airway, and the people that are controlling, that stop and block and hinder and keep God's people from. But there are some of us who, in spite of, we're moving into new places, into new positions. There are inheritance that are coming in. There is abundance that is being placed in our hand. And I mean tangible, and I mean also with wisdom and knowledge, understanding, revelation, the how to, the when to, the what to, the instruction, the direction, the guidance to get out of and get off of this hamster wheel, and to be positioned in places of power to lead the masses out of the wilderness into the promised land, because the promise is being kept from us. The promise has been held back from us long enough. And there are many of us we're focusing on, and we're worried about the wrong things. And we're caught up in the wrong things. And we're fighting against each other instead of seeing the whole plan and infiltrating and bringing down and tearing up and destroying everything that is holding us captive when we are called to set the captives free. We are blind and we don't even know it. We are deaf and we think that because we hear that we are being exposed to everything that we need to hear, when things are being kept from us. So we are blind, deaf, and dumb, being held in a system that keeps us from the abundance that God has for us. And those of us who are moving in the direction to receive from God what God has, we are bringing the multitudes out with us into the promised land.